In 1620, while the Mayflower was in Provincetown, 18 of its men sailed in a small shallop, searching for a place to live. They came to present-day Eastham, where they were met by a group of Nauset. After a brief but violent encounter, the English left towards today's Plymouth. In 2020, we remember this first encounter. We explore its meanings for today and tomorrow.
Good evening. Welcome to tonight's segment of the Sunset Series. I'm Thomas Ryan, Vice Chair of the Eastham 400 Commemoration Committee, and I'm very happy to welcome this evening Mandy Precious. She's the Director of Engagement and Learning at the Theatre Royal Plymouth over in the United Kingdom. Welcome, Mandy. Glad to have you with us. Could you please tell us, the reason I knew your name and many of us met you over the past years was that you were deeply involved in a project with the local Wampanoag tribe, This Land. Could you tell us what your involvement has been and how that devolved this year?
Okay, so I have been involved so I've been in Plymouth, UK for about 5.5, nearly 6 years. And when I first arrived, we were talking a lot about the commemorations of the sailing of the Mayflower. And we were making decisions about playwrights and various other things to make this commemoration happen. And so right from the very beginning of my being in the Plymouth area, this was a subject that was, meaty and on the board. And then eventually we hit upon commissioning a playwright, and then we decided that we would have, randomly, we just decided, sitting in a room, that we would have the UK community, and we would also, if possible, have the Wampanoag Nation take part in this piece of theatre. A sort of professional piece of theatre, but with amateur, non-professional actors. So I guess it was probably about 3, maybe 4 years ago, we had a telephone call with a couple of members of the Wampanoag Advisory Committee. And my colleague, who's no longer at the theatre, said something like, we're going to do this play, and if you fancy it, you can be in it. And she was very kind of relaxed and chilled out about it. And it transpired that the Wampanoag were really kind of clear that we could not tell the story without them. Mm-hmm. And at that point, I realised that we needed to meet the Wampanoag tribe, and we needed to have some serious conversations about how we would involve them in a piece of community theatre. And so sometime after that, quite soon after that, we came to America, and we met members of the advisory committee over pizza. Mm-hmm. As my experience of America is often that we have very serious meetings over food. That seems to be the way things go. And we had this meeting in a pizza place, and they very, very strongly talked to us and tried to interrogate us about what this project would be and what their role would be and how we would involve them and how did they know whether they could trust us and all of those other kind of really pertinent questions. And that was the start of a really long-term relationship. And I suppose, from my perspective, I just come off the back of another show where we'd had a play written and the people in it absolutely hated it. Mm-hmm. And I was able to say to them, they didn't like it, we rewrote it. Mm-hmm. So you can trust us, because if we write a play that you don't like, we can rewrite it. Mm-hmm. And I guess on that basis, we started to build a relationship, and we started to develop an understanding of what was needed. And we came back. I think I've been 6 times to America to meet the tribe, and I kept coming back and forth to actually just really nail what it is that they wanted to say. And in the meantime, we employed a director, we employed a designer, we employed various other people so that we could create a piece that gave the Wampanoag Nation a platform to say what they wanted to say, and for the community in Plymouth, UK, to actually tell the other parts of the story. Mm-hmm.
At some point when the pandemic struck, decisions had to be made, and how did that go?
Well, it was It was really tricky. It was really tricky for all kinds of reasons, actually, for me personally, but also professionally. So this was one of the biggest pieces of theatre in my professional career, having 130 plus people on the stage, one of the biggest stages in the Southwest. But it became apparent very quickly that you could not invite a group of people to your country at a time when, you know, they were potentially vulnerable, and that people could have people could die. You know, these are huge issues. So I guess when the pandemic struck, we almost immediately realised that we would not be able to go forward with this land in the way that we had envisaged it.
Do you have any, maybe you have to wait until the pandemic is over, but do you have any plans with Wampanoag leaders for the future?
We have spoken to a few people, yes, and you know, I guess the problem the problem with the pandemic is, as you sort of intimated, it doesn't behave itself in a kind of, you know, we can't say that in November we will all have a virus or a vaccine rather, or we can't say, you know, at this point things will be safe. So at the moment we're in a very tricksy situation. So we spoke to the kind of elders in the tribe, and we spoke to people on the advisory committee, and we sort of batted the potential performance into next year, so maybe April next year.
Yeah.
Now, that seems to me to be a long time ahead, but at least it did when the pandemic started in March this year. But now, as we are 5 months in, you start to think, how practical is that as an option? And so I guess we will need to have another conversation when we are across whether quarantining needs to happen, or whether insurance can be got for people to travel from America to the UK, and so on and so forth. So there are some more conversations that need to be had.
I agree. April of 21 does feel like it's coming very fast in these conditions.
Yes.
It does.
Life is... well, it's unbelievable that we've, you know, I've been working at home for 5 months. I've been sitting in this room for 5 months. So.
Yeah. So we were here in Eastham. We've had many of the same kinds of issues you have, that we had great plans for many, many things, and most of them fell apart. And I've been sitting in my condo endlessly with my books behind me in every picture, every Zoom picture. So how do you feel about all this? Have you made peace with this, or how do you process this?
Well, it seems to me that it's unfinished business. You know, one of the great blessings of having done this project is that I've built, I think, friendships with some people from the Wampanoag tribe, and I feel a sort of sense of responsibility to that relationship to enable that group of people to have a platform to say what they need to say. And so, because it's unfinished business, I want to finish it. Now, that might, April 2021 may come too soon, but I still feel like I have a commitment to them to actually make good on my promise to them that they would have their say.
That's wonderful. And by the way, we here in this town, this is where they had the first encounter, and the Nauset tribe shot arrows at the pilgrims who were arriving. And so we feel very much the need for the native peoples to tell their story. And they've been too often not allowed a voice for the last 400 years. So listen, thank you very much, Mandy, for being with us for this segment of the Sunset Series. And we are confident you will do something in the future. And we're hoping that we can come and visit you in Plymouth, and maybe come to that, whatever you're doing in Plymouth. Thank you very much for being with us.
I look forward to that. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
My name is Joanna Hollick. I'd like to share an invitation with you regarding Eastham 400's other series, the Campfire Series. The Campfire Series is a series of hour-long presentations each Sunday in July and August that delve more deeply into some of the topics that we discuss here on the Sunset Series. I am happy to announce that our last campfire will be taking place in person. On Sunday, August 30th, this event will occur at the Eastham Windmill at 6 p.m. The same presentation that was given on August 23rd will be given again, featuring John Hanlon, who has led the campfire programs at Cape Cod National Seashore for the past 20 years, and Linda Coombs of the Aquinnah Wampanoag tribe. Admission is free, but registration is required. You can sign up for this event using the form on our website, eastham400.org. We are looking forward to this event and hope to see you there.